So the Galaxy Tab S9, it's an incredible tablet and it's one of my favorite tablets that I've ever used. But is it worth buying for you? And how does it compare against tablets like the Tab S9 Plus and the Tab S9 Ultra? Well, I've got a full review on this tablet today and I'm going to let you know what I think about it. So with all that being said, let's get right into it and let's talk about the Samsung Galaxy Tab S9. So a lot of my viewers know I just love Samsung Galaxy tablets. So when this tablet came out, and when it came out with so many great improvements over the Tab S8, I was just floored and I was so excited about it because we are getting an OLED screen in the Tab S9. We are getting S-Pen latency that is improved over the Tab S8. We are getting so many things that are so similar to the Tab S9 Plus and the Tab S9 Ultra. There are barely any differences between this tablet and those other larger siblings, but you are getting a cheaper tablet with the same processor, with the same type at least of an AMOLED screen. Like the AMOLED screen is gorgeous, it has an amazing color to it, like it looks incredible. And when you factor in all those things and the improved S-Pen latency, what are you paying? Well, you are going to pay a little bit more than last year's Tab S8. So it starts at $799 with the retail price. And I know that's a little bit higher than last year, but just consider that you are getting a lot of jumps as far as a lot of other features, and you are getting a processor improvement, and I know that's normal every year, but you are getting the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2. You are also getting a battery bump, so the battery size is a little bit larger in the Tab S9 compared to the Tab S8. You're getting the better S-Pen latency, and again, we are getting an AMOLED display with more brightness this year in the Tab S9. All of those things just make me salivate for the Tab S9, right? Because when I got this device and when I pulled it out, I was amazed on a day-to-day basis with how good the screen looked and how good it performed, and how day-to-day there's not really a lot that's missing with this tablet. But you are going to see a lot of differences between the Tab S9 specifically and the Tab S8, because the Tab S8 had that TFT display, it had worse S-Pen latency, so there are some things to look forward to with this device, of course, and you are going to get a little bit of a different design than last year. So there's not a lot that's different with the design, but if you look at the back of the device, you are going to see this spot with the S-Pen here. The S-Pen can now charge both ways, not just one way, so it is going to look a little bit different there, and the camera bump is going to be a little bit different. So you're going to see one camera here, it's a circular camera, and if you compare that to last year's model, it just looks a little different. But that does mean that when you look at the keyboard cover that worked with the Tab S8, the keyboard cover that worked with the Tab S7, the one that had a trackpad and everything there, that is not going to work properly with this, mainly because the back of it, the kickstand part, will not actually fit this tablet because of the camera bump. But I did hear that the bottom part of the keyboard, if you buy the detachable model from the previous Tab S7, I did hear that it might work on this, though it might come with a little bit of a prompt saying it might not. But either way, you're not going to be able to get the back to fit unless you cut a bunch of crazy stuff up. So I think that's a little bit of a disappointment for some people who are out there looking to use previous accessories. But I will say that the keyboard cover for this Tab S9 is way improved over that Tab S7. Even if it's not super significant to some of you, it is a lot more rigid, and I think that's a really big deal. But it is not backlit, so if you are looking for backlit keys, you are not going to get that in the keyboard cover for the Slim keyboard or for the book cover keyboard this year. But if you want to know more about that, I did cover those keyboard covers in a full review, so feel free to check out that video. But when we look at the tablet design, you're not going to see, again, a lot different from the Tab S8, mainly this S-Pen part in the camera, but you're going to see two speakers on each side. We do get an SD card slot at the top of the device, and we do have a normal power button that does not have a fingerprint sensor. So that is one other difference from the Tab S8. We do have an in-screen fingerprint sensor now, so if you're someone who really liked the power button fingerprint sensor, I'm sorry, it's gone, but we do have an in-screen fingerprint reader, and it is very reliable for me, even with a tempered glass screen protector here. And tempered glass screen protectors, by the way, from the Tab S8 seem to fit the Tab S9 just fine. Now moving on to the performance of this device and the display. Again, when we look at those things, I don't think you're going to see very significant differences between this and the Tab S9 Ultra. So the Tab S9 Ultra has all the hype. Everyone's like, "Ooh, Tab S9 Ultra, it's so big and amazing." And I get it, okay? I covered that in a full review and it's awesome. It's a great tablet for those of you who want a large display. But for a lot of people, it's going to be a little bit too large. And when we look at this device, it's an 11-inch device. It's meant for those people who want something portable. But the screen is so amazing, and the Tab S9 has a 2560 by 1600 resolution, which is really, really nice. It's got the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2, and that means that battery life will also be improved as well, because you're going to get more efficiency with the processor. So I was getting like between 8 and 10 hours of screen on time. That is going to be different for everyone, but the battery life was great, and just going between different apps, it looked so smooth whenever I was moving around this tablet. And of course, whenever I was watching content on the display, I was just blown away by this AMOLED display. Like, holy smokes, it looked amazing. The refresh rate feels so smooth. The storage is actually better than previous years. You have a higher UFS storage rating. It's like UFS storage 4.0, I believe. So when we look at all that, right, the storage is faster, and I know a lot of iPad people, it's so funny to me, by the way, I heard a rumor that iPads are switching to AMOLED displays, and people are going to act like Apple invented AMOLED, even though they almost always use Samsung displays in their devices. But either way, look, AMOLED, in my opinion, is a lot better than mini LED. Some people will debate me on that, but I love AMOLED displays, and in particular, I love this display. And it's also a little bit brighter as well if you compare it to previous years. So there's a peak brightness on this tablet of 750 nits. And if you go all the way up to the Tab S9 Ultra, you get 930 nits. So there is a little bit of better brightness levels, of course, on the Tab S9 Ultra. But there are benefits actually to getting a smaller display too. Like when you get a smaller display, you're not stretching out the resolution quite as far, so you're actually going to get a better picture overall whenever you're looking at it from the Tab S9. I actually had the Tab S9 Ultra, and I think the Tab S9 just looks a little bit better in my opinion. Not by a large margin, but if you are actually looking at it, you will notice the picture quality looks a little bit better. But if you're looking at the Tab S9 Ultra, it's huge, and obviously you would prefer a much larger display for watching YouTube videos. At least most people would. A lot of people are going to want that larger display for doing a lot of stuff on their tablet. Some people want a larger canvas, they want the biggest tablet possible, but some people want something different. They want something more portable, but a lot of people just were afraid because if you look at previous years, there were so many compromises with getting the Tab S8. But if you look at the Tab S9, there's not a lot of compromises anymore. So what are the differences between the Tab S9 Ultra and this tablet here? Well, the Tab S9 Ultra has 2 cameras on the rear. It has 2 cameras on the front. This has 1 camera here, and it has 1 camera on the front. Outside of that, the only real difference that I know of is that the Tab S9 Ultra has slightly better peak brightness. But when you look at everything else, yes, the base model of the Tab S9 does have a little bit less RAM. But you can get 12 gigs of RAM if you want to upgrade that. If you look at the Tab S9 Ultra, yes, you can go up to 16 gigs of RAM, but you really have to pay a lot of money for that. And yes, the Tab S9 Ultra does have a keyboard that does have backlit keys, but you're paying like $350 for that keyboard. So if you pay $1,500 plus and you get the Tab S9 Ultra and the keyboard versus paying like $1,000 for this and the keyboard, yeah, you're going to get backlit keys, you're going to get a slightly brighter screen as far as peak brightness goes, and you're going to get a little bit of extra cameras. And a lot of people don't even use cameras on their tablets. And of course, you're only going to have 1 camera on the Tab S9. So that means if you're using a Google Meet or you're doing some type of Skype call, you only have that 1 camera for that. If you're okay with that, what are you losing with the Tab S9 Ultra? Not much of anything. The big thing you're paying for with the Tab S9 Ultra is the screen size. And the Tab S9 Plus, it does have some extra benefits, by the way, because it comes with more storage in the base model. It does come with 12 gigs of RAM in the base model. So if you're already wanting a little more RAM, you're going to be a little closer in price anyway. And the keyboard cover is a big difference between all of these devices because the keyboard cover is a little crammed with the Tab S9. So if you actually want to buy the keyboard cover directly from Samsung, that book cover keyboard, it's really tough to type on a keyboard that is fitting a 11-inch screen. So you do pay a cost for this extra portability portability if you are someone who wants to get more productive work done. But if you aren't someone who wants that, or maybe if you're okay with some alternatives, like I do have this outdoor cover from Samsung, you might pay like 60 or 70 bucks, you get a case like this, and then you get a Bluetooth keyboard, and you could get a lot of productive work done if you do that, and you'll get a nice big keyboard, you're gonna save a lot of money, you're gonna get a terrific tablet with very little compromises. You're still gonna get 45-watt charging, and this year you get water resistance in your tablet. That is terrific. I would not bring it to the pool and dunk it in there, you never know, but you're gonna get a lot of water resistance here, so if your kids slobber on it, if you accidentally bring it in the bathroom when you take a shower, you're not gonna have to worry about those minor inconveniences with your tablet. And that's a game changer for a lot of people, and a big reason why a lot of you might wanna upgrade. Of course, you also get 4 years of Android updates, you get Samsung DeX on this tablet, so even if you did want to get more productive, you could always plug this device into a monitor, and you'll get a lot of productive work done with Samsung DeX. And of course the S Pen. The S Pen has better latency than the Tab S8, even though to be honest I didn't really notice bad latency, I thought it was just fine with the Tab S8, but they did up the latency on this, or improve it I should say, to where it is in the same lineup with the Tab S9 Plus, the Tab S9 Ultra. The latency is going to be about the same as those devices. So again, you're not missing a lot with this device. So if I'm going to give you any advice that is really going to help you make the right decision with your Galaxy tablet, I would say find the right screen size for you. I've seen way too many people get enamored with the Tab S8 Ultra, and now they're getting enamored with the Tab S9 Ultra, and they go and buy it with that gorgeous large screen, and then they find out it's just way too big for them. 14.6 inches is ridiculously large for a tablet, so I would say for those of you out there who are looking, the Tab S9 might be too small for some of you. Some of you are going to try this device and you're going to try that keyboard cover and it's just going to be too small and you don't want a small tablet. If that is you, well, the Tab S9 might not be for you. I think the Tab S9 Plus might be the middle ground that a lot of you are going to want to go to because it still is portable, but of course it is a little bit larger, but it's not too large, so I think a lot of you are going to like that. Of course, the keys are not backlit on that tablet. At least you'll get extra storage and extra RAM in the base model. So some of you are going to like the Tab S9 Plus. That might be a device for you. But the Tab S9 is for those people who want portability. If you really value the S Pen, again, it's a tremendous experience on this device. You could get a small device that has a great S Pen experience. You could get a small device with a great AMOLED display and a small device that has the same performance as those other devices. So if you want to remain portable, this is the device to get. And for me personally, I really love this device because it can save me some money. I don't have to buy the Tab S9 Plus or the Tab S9 Ultra. I'm not sacrificing a bunch of performance. I'm not sacrificing a bunch of display quality or anything like that. I could get all of those things that I enjoy. I think even the battery life will be about the same, by the way. Even though the battery size is smaller than those other devices, it is actually going to last around the same time because you're powering a smaller screen, of course. So when I look at this, I could have the outdoor cover that I got from Samsung. I love this case. It's my favorite case because it has this awesome kickstand, and I can actually carry this device around. It's so portable, and if I really want to get productive, sure, I could bring a Bluetooth keyboard like the MX Keys Mini. You could spend $100 on that. You could spend 60 or 70 on a case like this, and next thing you know, you spend under 200, or you could get the keyboard cover if you just want something light, if you want to protect the screen with that keyboard, of course. If you want something that you don't mind having small keys on the keyboard, you don't mind that they're a little bit crammed, because it is a good keyboard cover, again, that has improved over previous years. If you're someone who wants that portability, you're wanting a lighter tablet, and this is a great device, again, for those of you who want a lot of power, but you want a lot of portability. If you want a little less portability, and you want about the same power and everything else, then you could buy the Tab S9 Plus, right? Again, I would say the most important factor for most people is going to be the screen size. That's really what you're paying for. You're not getting a ton of extra features with the Tab S9 Plus or the Tab S9 Ultra. You're really paying for the screen size. So you have to ask yourself, what screen size am I going to prefer and what keyboard size am I going to prefer? And ask yourself that question with the keyboards. Is it going to be too small or too big? Or am I even going to buy a keyboard in the first place? Ask yourself those questions and I think you will get the answer to which tablet you should buy. As for me, I think the Tab S9 is great, and I think the Tab S9 Ultra is for those people who want the biggest and the baddest, and they want to have an S Pen and just have this huge display. And all of these Galaxy tablets are amazing this year. I'm in love with them, they're terrific. But if you're a bargain hunter, don't forget about the Tab S8 series, okay? It's not actually that different than the Tab S9 series, and you could get a lot of great deals on the Tab S8 Plus, on the Tab S8, if you are out there on the bargain hunting mission, okay? So hopefully this review did help you out, okay? If it did, help me out a little bit and use those affiliate links in the description. That is a great way to help me in my channel. Another way to help me out is to subscribe to my channel, to like this video, and to check out a lot of my other content, by the way, because I do a lot of Galaxy Tab content on my channel. So I just want to say thank you so much for your support. I hope you have a great day, and I really do hope you enjoy your week.